Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Marvelous Monday. I need to say thank God so very much for all of you for the time that we spent together in person worship, as well as those who saw us virtually. Thank you so very much for liking and sharing and telling everyone about the goodness of the Lord that He has shown to us here at the Fountain and what He's doing in your life. Today, as you're listening to this, please take a moment, share it with a friend, with a relative, with someone, and tell them about how God is doing great and marvelous things. I invite you to look with me at Acts, the 6th chapter, verses 1 through 7. A very powerful pericope. It's a text in which begins to let us see how those disciples had to choose 7 persons to serve in the role of quote unquote deacons. This text begins to let us see how the disciples and all the believers began to rapidly grow. And there was a grumbling. There was something that happened. They find out that there was a vision. There was a belief that the Greek speaking believers had a complaint against the Hebrew speaking believers. It felt as though their widows were being neglected in the daily distribution of food. Whenever I read this text, I have to be reminded that all the disciples who were following Christ and those who were following these 12, they had sold all their possessions. They had laid them at the apostles' feet. And the 12 found themselves meeting with these people, and they found out it was too much for them to handle by themselves. So they began to share the responsibility. This text reminds us that we all need to work together. The 12 called all the believers and they said, "We want you to choose from among yourself 7 men full of the Spirit and full of wisdom, who we can give the responsibility of taking care of the widows." You know, oftentimes when we read this text, we believe that it's a general responsibility, but it says very clearly the responsibility was taking care of the distribution of food for the widows, to make sure that there was no more grumbling and complaining. One of the things that we have to do, and one of the things I heard many years ago at a deacon's ordination, it says that deacons should come to resolve conflict and not be the cause of conflict. Well, these 7 men understood that their responsibility was very clear. They were to report to the apostles what was going on. They were supposed to let the apostles continue to pray and teach the word. And the apostles needed to make sure that these disciples knew exactly who they were choosing. They were choosing men who were full of the Spirit and full of wisdom, because they needed for them to resolve issues and not create issues. These 7 who were presented to the apostles, they prayed daily, they laid hands on the people, and they found out that they resolved the matter. This becomes a very clear expression to all of us that God gives us different roles in the body of believers. God gives us those who are to preach, those who are to teach, those who are to lead in the distribution for food. It tells us there's room for everybody. In this text, they chose these 7 men to serve. All of these men came from different backgrounds. They were a diverse population of people. They were not all from one group. They were not all from the same family. It shows us in the church that God wants us to have diversity. God wants us to have plurality of leadership. God wants us to have people who are different so we can understand everybody and understand where they come from. Oh, this text is so powerful because it opens up to all of us how the church can grow. Notice it says that the church grew daily, and for that reason, they need additional help. Today, may all of us help our churches to grow daily by sharing it with everyone, that everybody might know the goodness of the Lord and that everybody has a place. Today, God has a place for you, and we ask that you would find that place. Join us here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing, and we'll see you on the next time.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.